Alright, hello my lovelies. This is going to be my first real video, the one that I kickstart off my channel with, besides the intro video that I made last week. So basically I just want to cover a few things I saw over the last 2 weeks and get your opinions on everything. First thing being the Manchester bombing. It was at the Ariana Grande concert, and it was an absolute horrible thing where children and adults alike were injured and or killed. They had blamed it on terrorism, which is what it was, and they blamed it on ISIS, and ISIS did confirm that it was them. However, due to this, America, the U.S., had then decided that it was a proper time to increase their Muslim-related hate crimes, and now there are multiple people in America, more than usual, who are being hated on and basically being forced to live their life as an outcast. And I don't think that's fair. Terrorism isn't a religion. And I don't think people get that across enough, is that it isn't a religion. People who act on terrorism can claim that they are a religious person, but they are not acting upon the religion unless the religion itself is based on hatred or massacring, or even in some countries around where tribes and stuff still exist, and there are religions where cannibalism and basically torture to show that you're stronger than the others around you exist, and that's them. But they're not purposely going out and blaming an entire religion for what's going on in their lives. Secondly, another thing that's been going around is the whole thing with Donald Trump. Yet again. The main thing I wanted to focus on today is the whole thing with Kathy Griffin and her picture with, if you guys don't know, it's her holding a machete with Trump's bloody head attached to it. Personally, I think it's great, and I think that it really shows that not everyone who can have an impact on what Americans see agrees that Trump is not someone we should have in power. This is my personal opinion, and as I told in the intro video if you watched it, that my personal opinion, whether you disagree or not with it, is what's going to be said on this channel. So she had posted the picture and then had been fired from CNN, and Donald Trump responded with, well, what about my kids? My kids are going to have to look up and see this, and they're going to be traumatized. Yes, I do feel bad for the kids, but where was this, oh no, my kids, when it came to Barack Obama? First black president, go us. And then we go and do horrible things like have mannequins that were lynched or hanged up in public places, bloodied and tortured, with his face on it. His kids are going to have to see that. What if they see those pictures one day just scrolling through trying to do some paper at school, and they need images, and that's what they see, is their father having been lynched? How about all the times that people had called out Barack Obama for his religion and such, and then have his kids be bullied on? What about, how's my kids going to do then with him? So no, I don't feel bad for Trump in the slightest. I do feel bad for his kids, I suppose, mainly because from what I've seen, they haven't been that horrible. They're not going out and groping other people who have rights to their own body. And so in my opinion, they're pretty good. Third and final thing for the day that I'm going to cover is, in fact, my beliefs on equality and feminism. Feminism, the definition, is equality among the sexes. It is not women are better than men. It is just us, women, getting put up on the same pedestal as men. And when I say I am a feminist, I'm not just talking about the simple pay cut and wage difference here in America. I'm talking about the child brides, the 7-year-olds, all the way up until 13-year-olds, being married off to strangers and adult males in other countries, in India, and I'm fighting for them, and then you say that feminism isn't important and doesn't apply to you. Sure, maybe this one tiny aspect doesn't apply to you, but this large aspect, this whole entire definition of feminism applies to so much more, assuming you actually use the right definition. And I'm talking about using it for all over the world. There are child brides. There is cultures that produce horrible hate crimes towards women. In Africa, there are some places where women at a young age are forced to put bandages around their breasts very harshly to the point where they flatten down so that they wouldn't be sexually assaulted in any form or manner as they're growing up and developing. Now, if we were living in the same place as them, we would say, yeah, feminism's great. We need that because that's horrible. But since it's in a different country and we don't all look at what's going around the world, we don't care. We don't think it's important. But I'm a feminist, and I mean that in the full-heartedly. That I'm not just talking about the people in America. I'm talking about the people in India and in Africa, China, and everywhere in between. I'm talking about how girls are told that when a boy hits them, it's because they love them. We are being taught at a young age that abuse is good and that it can mean love. And then when we grow up and we have relationships that can turn into domestic violence, we feel ourselves resorting back to our young age where we were told that is love. Now, I'm not saying that women aren't also people who cause pain towards men as well, because that is a thing. I'm not saying that women are better than men. Women do bad stuff too, and I know that. But I'm talking about bringing us up to the same pedestal, so that when we point out what each other does wrong, we can see it on an equal level, rather than one gender looking down on another, rather than one gender having to look up at another. How is that fair? Who says that that's how it's supposed to be? Almost every country it's like that. In America, I'd say, if we were actually measuring it, there'd be like a 10-foot difference. But in some countries, it's 20, 30, all the way down to the floor and all the way up to the sky difference. And we're supposed to accept that? We're in 2017. Here we are, and we're supposed to be the start of a golden age. We are supposed to be what younger 1980s, 1990s people thought would be the years that we would do great things. Yeah, we've done great things. We've reached to space. We've gone and done things with the moon and Mars and everything, yet we're trying to colonize other planets, yet we can't even handle our own in the first place. We're destroying it, and no one seems to care. The ones who do care seem to get shut down. And now that we're finally taking place and control of what's going on in the world with climate change and everything, there are some countries not going to name any US, who are just outright denying it, and it's not going to work, because there's going to be harsh rebounds, and it's not going to work. And I hope that when people watch this video, if you watch it, that you understand that there is more to the world than you're not seeing. You're not going to see on the news about those little girls who have to bandage themselves so that they don't get sexually assaulted. You're not going to see the horrendous amounts of child brides in the world that are being forced to move away from their families, from everyone they know, to live with strange men who are 20 years older than them, sometimes even 40, and so on in between. You're not going to see that. Why? Because it doesn't involve America. Because it doesn't involve you. And that is the harsh, cruel reality that we all face, is that if it doesn't involve us, if it doesn't have anything to do with us, we won't take a stand. We won't say that it's happening, and we won't show it on TV. And TV and the internet are one of the fastest, both the fastest ways of getting the news out to the people, and it is the most influential. Kids who watch TV, they learn things and they develop, which is why we have kids' cartoons and everything, where they see things that teaches them basic spelling words and stuff like that, and it also starts to influence their morals. And yet, they're not going to show the important things that are going around in the world. Why? Why? It doesn't involve us, yet we can still take a stand. I don't understand why we won't. Oh wait, that would be because no one who is in a political standpoint will do anything about it, because there are some rules that they won't break, yet there are rules that they are willing to not only break, but parade around that they broke. I am referring to the most recent thing where the US had bombed a hospital in a different country with a internationally banned chemical. A hospital where, yes, maybe a terrorist or a terrorist leader is being helped there, but so are innocents, kids, families, mothers who are giving birth. This is a hospital. If one of our hospitals were attacked in the same manner, there would be a huge outcry. Yet there's only a small voice being heard when it comes to this hospital. That shouldn't be right, and that's accepted, and I can't stand for it. Anyway, so those are my rants for the day. Some good news in the world, I suppose, is that it is now Pride Month. Go us. There are many different activities going place, and I hope when people consider Pride Month that they don't forget about Orlando, the Pulse Club from last year, and I hope that we all take, unfortunately, caution when it comes to our celebration, due to the fact that more and more hate crimes are sprouting up. And so I wish you all, allies, gays, trans, everyone in that beautiful little rainbow, the best of luck and safety. Please travel in numbers. Don't let yourself get hurt or caught up in a hate crime. I don't want to have to see anyone else on the news. I don't want to have to put on yet another layer of rainbow makeup and post it on Instagram so that people realize that there is things happening. Because it's not going to be everywhere on the news. There are going to be channels that block it out or make it out to be something it isn't. They're going to say that it isn't terrorism. Whether it is someone from the inside of the U.S., a U.S. citizen, someone born here, or it's someone from the outside, it is still considered terrorism. So, label it as such. Anyway, good news, right. So, please be careful, caution yourselves. I wish that for every day of the year for everyone. But celebrate. Just because you're in the closet of anything, it doesn't mean you can't celebrate, whether it's with a few friends that you trust that know, or with just by yourself, or going anonymously to a parade or a party or something. If you need ideas, you can definitely look up in Google and Facebook. They have many different activities going around. The Delta Foundation, I know personally, does a lot of great parades and everything. Currently they're in Pittsburgh this year, and if you guys see this before, this weekend, they are having the Pride Fest on Saturday and Sunday, and they're also having their Equality Pride March parade through Pittsburgh on the Sunday. So, yeah, Pride, woo! Gays. Sorry. Also, more good news, I suppose, is that Wonder Woman just came out. And yeah, there was a lot of hate for it because of the only women showing and such, but got great reviews. And I saw a few kids, both girls and boys, who were running around, and they felt empowered because they had seen a woman character who was the main star have such great power and strength. And that makes me so happy that little kids have heroes they can look up to. And yes, there are, I'm not just excluding guys' characters either, but when you watch Batman or Superman or Spider-Man and such, the women heroes aren't portrayed as strong as individualized hero movies. Wonder Woman is focused on a woman who is so strong and powerful, who is a person who will inspire others. Little girls will look up to her and they will see that she is something they can be. Yes, they're not going to be able to run around with a sword and shield and fight crime, but they can grow up and get a badge, fight crime. They can be strong and be an activist and be proud of who they are by seeing examples like that. I do face painting in the community here, and I got so many requests from both girls and boys, ranging between ages of 5 and 10, all asking for something to do with either the pens, Stanley Cup, and things like Pride Month, which was really exciting because these little kids, they don't know whether or not they are involved at all. They just see a person, girl or boy, whether they are a girl or boy, and they're like, I like you. And I love that. And so they're like, what's that mean? Well, it means you get to wear a rainbow. Well, can you paint me a rainbow? Of course I can. So not only did they ask for Pride stuff, they asked for superhero stuff, and a little boy had a flower crown painted on him, and instead of making fun of him for having such a femininely look, he was commended, and other boys got up and said they wanted a flower crown as well, which shows that the difference between masculinity and femininity doesn't really grow, and the hate doesn't really start to form until they are taught it and until they grow older. These little kids, they didn't care. The only thing that they would fight about would be whose juice box is that. Not kidding. There was like 3 different fights between girls and boys and kids about whose juice box was it, where did mine go. Not kidding, I had one too. It was great. I love juice boxes. But like, these kids, it shows that kids have such an innocence and they develop into the future, as cliche as it is. But that's what it is. That's how all of society is they grow and develop into what they are taught. And if you want someone to be extremely strong and to take care of the world and the economy and the community, then you teach them how to do that. But when you don't give the kids a standard thing to look up to, when you don't give them anything that they can relate to, then how exactly are we going to raise them to be better and to be stronger than the prior generation? Besides all that, Pride Month, be careful, I love you all. No hate crimes, please. I'm really sick and tired of going through Instagram and going and flipping on the news and seeing all of these people, whether they're injured or dead, and living in fear. So many more people have gone into the closet or have started to disengage from their religion because of the increase in hate crimes everywhere. So please consider that. Please consider what you're doing to people. Just because they aren't exactly like you, it doesn't mean that it gives you any right to call them out or to hurt them. And I did see a few things where people had stood up. I saw a video of a U.S. soldier going to a convenience store and standing up for a Muslim worker who was getting harassed by a customer, to the point where the U.S. soldier had not only started yelling at them, but had forced them to leave because he could not stand to have someone do that to someone just working, someone being them. He had said, this isn't word for word, but he had said that he wore his suit, his army outfit, and he wears it for people to live and enjoy their rights. And I think that's great, is that that it does show that people are standing up for things. The U.S. soldier, there was a woman who was part of a social experiment unknowingly, had stood up for a Down syndrome worker who was a part of the social experiment, and was being harassed by someone else in the social experiment. And afterwards she had been interviewed as to why she stood up for him. Another one was a blind man was asking for change out of his money that he was giving. And a woman who was not a part of the social experiment was helping him. And then another woman who was not a part of it had called up the previous woman because the woman before was saying that all of his 20s were indeed ones. And then when she was interviewed, she said that she couldn't stand for something like that. And that shows that there is hope for people, and help can come from the most unlikeliest of places. And so if you're being abused, emotionally, physically, verbally, in a public place, in not a public place, reach out for help. And it works, and it's so beneficial. Anyway, so reach out, be safe, and accept. That's my word of the day. Accept. So I love you all, even if you hate me. If you dislike this video, I'm still going to like you. But have a nice day, have a nice life, and I will see you all in the next video. Also, I also forgot to mention that I am going to link a few numbers, like a suicide hotline, trans help hotline, stuff like that. I'll also post, like the Delta Foundation in their link to their Facebook, and stuff like that down in the bio. So please check that out. And if you really need it, please do take a hold of it. Use it. It's there for you. I know you can be scared to do it. I know it can be horrifying to admit that there's something wrong in your household or in your school or something, but you can get help. I've been there personally. I know how terrifying it is. And I'm sorry if you're going through something like that, but I'd rather have you go through the pain of having to talk about what's going wrong with your life than having to see more and more suicide ratings go up on the charts. I'd rather see that instead of more increase, that there is in fact a decrease. We have had our rates of suicides and hate crimes go up dramatically in the last 5 years alone. And it shouldn't be like that. And I have a cat. I'm so sorry. He's trying to make you guys feel better as well. Okay, Kylo, no. But please take help, get creative, find your place, find your happiness, find what makes you you, and I love you. I really hope that you all take care, that you all stay safe, and that you're all happy, and find at least someone or some person that holds you on and holds you up when you are low. Anyway, so officially the end, I promise. Like I said, I will see you all in the next week's bio video, and I will see what comes up over the next week. And like I said, I will leave a few things down in the description below. Okay. There, are you happy? Anyway, that was Kylo, one of my kittens. Kylo. Anyway, goodbye, my lovelies. Please take care.